Good morning, everybody. Jim Feist and Hank Goldberg here in Las Vegas. Congratulations, Hank. You were 100% right about what was going to happen in the Portland Golden State game last night. You said they were tired. You said they weren't prepared. They didn't have time to prepare. And you had the Warriors and the under, which went against the move because all the money came in on the over, and it never even got close to that.
You know, I learned a new name last night, Giraffco. You know, every game they come up with another guy off the bench who comes through.
Yeah, true. You know, the big controversy today is, and I have an opinion, but I'll ask you the question. All over the news, are the Warriors better off without Durant?
No. They're not.
My opinion is that they're different. They're not better off, but they're different. And when they
they have to go to the bench without Durant, and they've got guys on the bench who come through. But the answer to the question is the competition hasn't risen to the occasion. But where Durant really helps them is on the boards and on defense, and that's where they miss him. But you know, they went up against a team that relies on their two guards, and so the matchup really favors them in this game because they can defend those guards.
Yeah, you know, and if those guards Lillard has really not played that well lately. He said he was exhausted a couple of games ago, and he's playing like it. The Warriors, without Durant, they play a lot less isolation basketball. They move the ball more players, more passes, less dribbling, and you
know something. Have you seen some of the passes that Durant has been involved in? No matter who's in the game, they distribute the ball. The other thing is that McCullough last night had a very bad game, his first bad shooting night, and they had no chance without him being able to hit. He had a miserable percentage.
Yeah. Well, there's been no adjustment to the line at all. Tomorrow night's game is Warriors 8, 218, which is where it was going into the last game. So there's been no adjustment for the zigzag theory or anything like that. I think the basis, a lot of people out there think that the matchup is just so one-sided for the Warriors at this point. And Curry, of course, he's a monster. That guy is so talented. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Well, you know, it's not just him, but, you know, there are other guys that are stepping up too. You know, Green, Thompson, they're all playing well too. Bogut, Cook comes off the bench and he starts hitting threes. They've got a lot of guys on this team. They're a very well-constructed team. And you know, when you start talking about, the guy who may be the best player in the league being out, do they miss him? They've got plenty of guys who can step up and play. And they're so much better than everybody else. But will they miss him? Eventually they will.
Yeah, if they go up against Milwaukee, who's a big fast team with a lot of length, and they might suffer there. But I don't know. I'm wondering how serious Durant's injury really is. I guess he only knows. But
he hasn't been at practices, and he hasn't had his MRI yet. And they said he wasn't going to be ready until probably at least probably around the third game of this series.
Really?
So we'll see.
That should be interesting. How did you do in baseball last night?
I came out a little bit ahead. I can tell you exactly who I had. I know I had Milwaukee last night. They were a winner. I had the Mets, and I had the Cubs. I had Oakland, which I think lost. I had Kansas City, which was a winner. And I had the over in the Pittsburgh-Arizona game, which was a loser. I came out... and I lost the afternoon game, Cleveland and the White Sox. So I came out ahead again, so I'm doing pretty well. Okay, stay with it.
Now tonight we have, of course, we have a full card of baseball, but we also have the matchup between the Toronto and Milwaukee. 6.5 point home favorite, Milwaukee is. And here's another team that had to win on the final buzzer shot, bounced around the rim, and now traveled and go to Milwaukee. Is the situation any different than it was for Portland?
Yeah, they've had a little more time. That's one part, the one thing that's different. But Milwaukee at home is pretty tough.
They have been.
Excuse me.
And it's not just Giannis. They have a pretty good team, and they're well coached, and they have the best record in basketball. So I mean, they have done a lot right this year. I mean, this is a strong team.
Middleton is very good. Bledsoe is very good. Bledsoe is a beast getting to the basket. So they're going to be a tough team, and Toronto has got the best player. How much can he
I think that's the big question. Kawhi is absolutely a monster on the court. He's a very smart, very smooth player that does everything, and he does it so easily. He is really a fantastic ball player. I mean, I didn't realize how good he was when he was with the Spurs because he didn't have to do as much. But now that you see that he can do it if he has to, and he does, game after game after game, unbelievable player. But Milwaukee's the better team. They have more pieces. Toronto depends an awful lot on Leonard. I don't know that he can, like you said, how can he carry them? Because you're not getting a lot out of Lowry or the other pieces, so that's the key. Anything new on
Lowry is a big key. He has to come through for them.
He does.
Because they'll double up. They'll double up on Leonard.
Yeah, Lowry.
And they'll deny him the ball.
And that's what they need to do. Lowry in the past has been up and down guy. He showed, not even before Leonard got there. He disappears. And
I'll tell you who's a guy whose shooting really helps too, is Lopez.
Oh yes, very definitely. So that should be a great game to watch tonight. I'm looking forward to that one. Any more news on the Preakness?
The draw's this afternoon at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. There's a horse who was the late entry by Cox, who has never won a stakes race, never been in a stakes race, but he has plenty of speed, and he's won 2 allowance races at Oaklawn by large margins, and he's a horse that I'm taking a look at. I might play a little bit. That's how weak the field is. A horse who's never run in the stakes race has a chance to hit the board.
Wow. Should be interesting. Well, we'll pick more up on that on Friday.
I'll see where he draws. That could be key. If he gets a good post, I might use him. But I've got to do something after the draw today. And, I'll take a hard look at that. But I'll have more, as the week goes on. The weather could be a factor there. But so far, they've had a lot of rain. But it's supposed to stop by Thursday. The other news, of course, is the rain and how it's going to affect the course at Black Page. Our golf course is going to play very long, despite the distance, because you're not going to get any roll on the ball, and so you've got you got some pretty good prices on some guys in this.
Well, absolutely.
In the PGA.
Well, you can play a lot of players, but I think when in a major like this, you have to put Koepka in your mix a little bit because of the way he plays, and he's won 3 of the last 7. He was in position again in the Masters too. Taggart's the favorite, and I don't agree with that. I don't think he should be favored. I think he's in the mix, and he definitely has to be considered, but I don't think he's favored over these other golfers. And
I don't trust the fact that he hasn't played since the Masters. And you get a good price on Koepka. He's 9-1. You get a good price on Rory. Ricky Fowler is a pretty decent price at 16-1. He'll play well there. He always plays well. You can fish around and find some good long shots too. I'm in pretty good shape because I played Boston to win this series, and I laid not too huge a price on them when they're already ahead 3-0.
I'd say you're in great shape.
Yeah,
you're in great shape. Well, last night.
By the way, story right now is what happened last night with the NBA.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Knicks didn't get the first pick. The Knicks fans are really upset. They're now blaming Patrick Ewing, which of course is silly. He was there representing the Knicks in the draw. But the big question is what happens now with New Orleans. New Orleans is owned by friends of mine who also own the Saints. And this is a big, huge situation for them because now you wonder what happens with, their star player who wanted to get out of there and wanted to be traded. And do they now trade him or do they keep him? They've got a general manager there who can be very persuasive. And, with the best player in the world going there, will he want to stay? Or will he want to move on somewhere else? And if they trade him, what can they get?
Yeah, that is a major deal. That's a small market. A lot of your big stars want to play in the bigger markets. I don't know.
New Orleans is not a bad place to be. A lot of people enjoy playing. They certainly like playing for the Saints there, they've had pretty decent basketball teams there, and they have a nice fan base. And if you spend any time in New Orleans, it's a real fun place to be.
Oh, I love New Orleans. It's a great spot. Great spot.